Good morning, guys, and welcome back. That picture of the lamp that I just showed you this is the shade from that lamp. Sorry about that. And I am going to decoupage this with a napkin, but obviously this is too dark. I am painting the base of that lamp with the Americana decor color called Escape. Oh, it's so pretty. I have an ocean theme going up in the bedroom, and I wanted to put this tall lamp in there, and this is terribly outdated. I've been saving it for just this project. But did you know that you can paint, and this is material, you can paint material, furniture, lampshades, etc., with chalk paint? We just need to thin it down with a little bit of water so that it's not all crunchy, and it gives a lovely matte finish, which I'll show you. Now, I'm going to decoupage these napkins on here. I'm going to cut these out, and because I don't want a sheer stark white background on here, I will be mixing this Americana color only on the lampshade. I'm going to be mixing some of this, some of the you can see I use this all the time. So I'll be mixing this everlasting chalky finish paint with the color Escape. I'm going to mix these two colors with a little bit of water and paint this so that it is light enough, and I still pull this color in that will be on the base so that I can decoupage the napkin over this surface. You don't want any color too dark, because when you use too dark of a color, it will come right through the napkin. So I will get started painting this and mixing the chalk paint. And make sure you're using a bristle brush, especially with fabric, because you've got to get into spaces like this, you know, on the seams. So I'll finish painting this whole surface. Now I'm going to use the paint full strength on the base of this. And by the way, I did use a degreaser on the metal. You can paint, you could use chalk paint over metal, but you want to make sure it is free of any kind of grease or grime. And I'll paint the whole base. And I'm also going to take a little sandpaper and sand away some of the chalk paint after it's dried, so that it has a little bit of a beachy, aged look to it. So while everything's drying, I wanted to show you a little trick. I want to cut this napkin out, or the image out. And if you try to do that without this trick, it can be really challenging. So what I do is I take a glue stick that is reusable, and I take an old magazine, because this is actually a flyer that I got in the mail that will soon be junk mail. And what I do is I apply the repositionable glue stick over the surface. Let me just do one image. And I press the napkin down, cut out the main image, then with my smaller decoupage scissors, and I'll have links for these below because these really come in handy. You see that little curve there? And now I'm going to cut out the more intricate parts of this with that firm paper on the background. Hey guys, one thing I forgot to mention when I was showing you this trick about cutting the napkins is you should actually remove one ply. If you've got a 3-ply napkin, meaning this is the top ply, then it actually means sheets, right? This is the top sheet, there's a middle sheet, and then a third sheet. You would want to remove the bottom sheet so that you're left with 2 plies. You also want to make sure your fingertips don't have any of that sticky glue on it, because you're bound to touch the napkin and possibly tear it while you're cutting it. And get as much of that excess paper out of there as you can, and then continue to cut with just the 2-ply. So now when you're all done cutting, you can pull the top ply away. Now you have to be careful with in instances like this, because I cut these little legs. If you've got a flower with stems or anything, you just pull the top part away and that second ply stays there, but it was much easier to cut this way with that backing on it. Now I'm going to take my napkin decoupage glue, and this Deco Art napkin decoupage glue works beautifully. Oh my gosh, I spilled it all over. Fun! Let me try and wipe that off. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the image right around the center of where I want to work, and I'm taking a very soft artist's brush as opposed to a sponge brush, because that could actually work against you. And I'm putting the image over a dry surface, and I'm carefully working my way out. You can see how this gets a little tricky, so just take your time. And now I'm going to let this dry. Here's how my base is looking. And by the way, I wanted to mention, sometimes when I don't do something that other people tell you to do in a video, like in this case, people will sometimes tell you to use wax, either a white crayon or a clear piece of wax, to rub over the spots where you don't want the paint to adhere. And sometimes I will get a lot of comments with people telling me, you know what you should do, here's how you should do this, which is fine, but I just wanted to let you know the reason why I don't do that is because I personally don't like when I try doing that, and then when I'm all done I go, I don't really like how that looks here, I wish I would have put some here, I wish I would have done it here. And because this is chalk paint and it does come off pretty easily, I would just rather paint the whole thing with chalk paint, and then where I see fit, I will sand it and take away just little pieces where I want to. I probably didn't mention this because it's obvious, but never, ever, ever work on anything electrical while it's plugged in. Just make sure you unplug it. I just want to be responsible about that. And I also put a piece of tape around the cord here so that I didn't get the chalk paint there, even though I got it in a couple of other places. That'll wear off and nobody's going to see that, so I'm not too worried about it. But here is how this is looking. And I'm going to take the matte finish, the matte varnish that DecoArt makes and put that over this, because this base in particular, I want it to look a little aged and I don't want it to be all glossy. Oh, by the way, I'm adding this to the whole outside of the lampshade, not just where I decoupaged. I want the whole thing to be protected and have a nice, consistent finish all around. All right, friends, so here's how our lamp turned out. And you can see it's got a nice matte finish on there. And the chalk paint, it feels a little bit rough, but not too much. And a little bit of aging here on the base. Just went right through to the bottom color. And let me see if I can turn this on for you and see how that looks. And there we are. So we have a pretty simple update on a lamp. I actually have two of these, so I'm painting the other lamp to look identical to this one, and they'll go up in the bedroom. And that is a pretty easy project, I'd say, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Still trying to get up to 100,000 subscribers, so if you guys help me and share my videos on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook with your friends, it's a big help to me. And if you haven't subscribed, there is a little icon in the bottom right, I believe as you're looking at it, it's the bottom right hand corner of your screen that looks like a pair of scissors with an oval in the center. You can just click on that and that will help you subscribe. And Upcycle with Decoupage is also on Facebook. If you go over and like and follow the page, you'll be notified every week by Facebook when I put a new video out. And thanks again, my friends, for tuning in and for all of your lovely comments. I will be back next week. Don't forget the links are down below to a lot of these products that you'll need. And I'm just loving this oceany blue color from the Americana line. So that's it, guys. I will see you next week with another video. Thanks again, my friends. Bye-bye.